2006 Honda Civic. The Honda Civic has been one of Honda's most successful cars, not only in the North American market, but in European markets and Japanese markets. And it's been successful ever since it was introduced in the 1970s. You know, it goes through like a wave. Like some generations are a high, some generations are just kind of average, and then some generations are a high again. So this particular generation, the 8th generation Civic, in my opinion, was a super high generation. When this car came out, it was introduced in 2005 as a 2006 model year. It had a lot of things going for it. It really shook things up, not only for the compact car class, but also for Honda. It featured like this super revolutionary cab forward design. It almost looked like a wedge, and it looked like nothing else on the road at that time, at least in this class. And also for Hondas at the time. It was just a super unique look. And in my opinion, it's aged pretty well. Inside, you had a similar story. You had this cool two-tiered dash with the tack on the bottom, the speedometer on the top, and it was a digital speedometer. And the cab forward design of the outside translated into the inside too, because you had this long sweeping dashboard, which wasn't really common at the time in a lot of those compact economy cars. And similar to the exterior, I think the interior has held up quite well. Lastly, the thing that really set this car apart, for Honda at least, was the powertrain options. In 2006, this car came with 140 horsepower, 1.8 liter four-cylinder engine standard in North America with a 5-speed automatic transmission. Those two things, the power of the 140 horsepower engine with the 5-speed automatic, were not commonplace in the class at the time. Most of the cars were producing somewhere in the 120s or 130s in terms of horsepower, and they had 4-speed automatic transmissions. So this car coming in with a 5-speed automatic and a super class competitive 140 horsepower, combined with this cool interior and exterior design, it made it a smash hit for Honda. It sold well through its entire generation, and it was just a super successful car. How does this car compete with cars today if we look at it from a used standpoint, or honestly, even if we compare it to modern compact cars? With the combination that this car has from a powertrain perspective, combined with the way it looks inside and out, still makes it super competitive. Another fact to consider is the wheelbase. So this car has a 106-inch wheelbase. Again, when this car came out in the mid-2000s, that wheelbase was longer than other competitors in its class. But today, it's still pretty competitive because of that extra length. The current Civic also has a 106-inch wheelbase. The current Corolla has a 106-inch wheelbase. So interior volume-wise, that makes it still as spacious and roomy as you would expect from modern competitors in this class. Handling-wise, I actually think that this is better than what you get. The main reason being the steering. Now, this car comes with hydraulic power steering. Modern cars come with electric power steering. The benefit of electric power steering, you get better fuel efficiency. It's a little bit lighter when you're steering, so a lot of people tend to prefer it. But from an enthusiast perspective, there's more feel and communication that you get from a hydraulic steering wheel compared to an electric steering wheel. I love the Honda Civic so much, and in particular why do I love this Honda Civic so much? That's the main question. And the reason why I love it so much is because of how much fun I have when I'm driving it. You know, it's a 15-year-old car. It doesn't have a lot of the features that you would expect in a modern car. It doesn't even have cruise control. But I get so much joy from driving this car that it's probably one of the funnest cars for me to drive. And there's, I think, a few reasons why that's the case. I talked about the steering wheel earlier. You have this beautiful hydraulic steering rack. It feels heavy, it feels communicative, it feels like you're involved in the driving process and not removed. And you know, that's something that you miss in a lot of these newer cars. Second thing I really like from a driving perspective is the way that the driver ergonomics are set up. From my perspective, this is one of the things that Honda always nails. They always kill this. It just feels so perfect to drive. Like, you sit here and just the overall cabin and the feel that you get, it's like perfectly designed. The thing about this era of cars, in particular this Honda Civic, like kind of building off that steering wheel point, is how involved you feel. There's not as much sound deadening. There's not that many safety systems like stability control or traction control. It's just a more kind of raw feeling driving experience. which for someone who's into cars, and if someone is an enthusiast, that is an enjoyable feeling. It makes you feel more involved with the process of driving. You know, you feel like you're doing stuff and the car is reacting directly to what you're doing, and all that stuff contributes to creating a more enjoyable driving experience. I'm not saying this is like some stripped down Lotus Elise. You know, it's not like a super cut down driving experience, like, don't get me wrong. And the last reason, and probably the biggest and most honest reason as to why I love this car, is because of the first car reputation that these Honda Civics have. You know, this was my first car. Like, this car has been in my family for almost 15 years, and of that, I've driven it for close to 10 years. You know, I started this YouTube channel based on this car. There's so many memories and so many good times, right, that I've shared with this car that it's like a nostalgic thing when I get into this car compared to other newer cars. Like, it just there's a sense of familiarity and a sense of all these memories building up, and that makes it, you know, fun to drive. It makes it feel like you're driving something that's more than just a car. So yeah, that sounds cheesy, that sounds corny, I know, but it's the truth. I love the Honda Civic. I love it. I love all of them. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me about your first car, or what your favorite car is, and what car you think is fun. So thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. Safety first. Why are you laughing? This is a pretty cool angle. We're good, we're rolling. What was I gonna say for this one?